G'day guys, and welcome back to SimWorld. It has been a minute. We've had 2 weeks off, and we're back. We're finally back with SimWorld, and it's good to be back. We've got so much to talk about today. I mean, a lot has happened since I've been away. There's been pretty big moves by Skytrack. Well, kind of, not really. We'll talk about that. Unicore released a new launch monitor. So this was shown off at the PGA, the Unicore XR. And then also more and more news has been talked about with the iDRA2. So I want to kind of give my thoughts on both the XR and also the iDRA2, because those two launch monitors, although they are using AI like the Pro T, stickerless, club data, they don't need a marked ball. There is a difference between those two launch monitors, especially the iDRA2. So I want to just give my thoughts on those launch monitors, because there have been videos come out recently that I watched and I got so frustrated because the information was kind of glossed over, or, it wasn't, look, the information given was accurate, but it was definitely not given in depth and definitely not letting the people know what those two launch monitors are actually doing. So I'm keen to give my thoughts on those two launch monitors. Now, this is definitely not, promoting Pro T and saying don't get those two launch monitors, because they are fantastic and I do love some of the features that they have, but we'll get into all of that later. So stay tuned for that. Cool. It looks like people are joining in. Jez, I know you're super keen for today's show. So am I. We'll get into it. Spike's in the house. Nick's in the house. That's good to see. Alan's joining us as well. Tomat. It's good to see the familiar names coming back in. And yeah, I know. I honestly, I missed the Sunday lives. Yeah, last Sunday I had just got back. Actually, no, I got back in the evening on Sunday, so I couldn't have even done it. And it was Easter, so I'd probably be in trouble if I did. Okay, it looks like we've currently got 14 people in. I'm sure people will join as well. I was late in putting this in the Facebook group, so I'll try and get a bit better at giving a bit more advance to these Sunday lives. It is kind of difficult because I don't really know, especially in school holidays, if I'm going to be free to do these lives. Alan, that is fantastic to hear. Let me know how it's going as well. So with the hitting strips as well, I'm getting new materials sent to me. Anyone that's interested in them, I'm going to build these strips in bulk, and then I'm going to basically say, I have a drop of say 10, 15 hitting strips that are for sale. So that's how I'm going to do those in the future. At the moment, it's kind of just been, the hitting strips have just been, people will email me and I'll make them a hitting strip. I'm going to try and build a bunch of them in bulk and then do them in drops. Nice. That is good to hear. Yeah, I know. Even for me, like the elbow pain, I couldn't use this T-turf that I got, destroyed my elbow. And even to this day, I still have kind of lingering pain. If it wasn't for that impact strip, I wouldn't be playing sim golf. So nice, Ian. Good to hear. It's good to see you as well. I'm trying to move these a bit more forward in my day. So it's 9 a.m. here in Adelaide. I'm trying to move them forward to kind of capture the UK, because in the UK it's like late at night now, whereas in the States it's coming into the Arvo around 4 or 5 o'clock, I think, depending on where you live. So Dennis, it's what's good to see is there's so many members. I'm just seeing the member badges in the chat, and that's fantastic to see. I'll let people join before we start talking about the topics. Things that are new in my little world: I have Jumbo Max grips on all my clubs, and also I'm slowly turning into Bryson DeChambeau. I have an arm lock DF3. This thing is insane. This thing is insane. I do have to get it sent back though, because I did the online fitting, and what I failed to realize was when I actually do my putts in the sim room, over the course of the round, I start gripping down a bit more. So I've noticed that I just got it slightly too long, probably about an inch, maybe an inch and a half. So I'm going to send it back to lab and get it redone. But this thing is insane. It's I don't know how this isn't considered anchoring, and I don't know how this isn't considered cheating. That's all I have to say about that. Now, there are cons. I'll get into it. I'll do a full review on that putter, but man, it's inside 20 feet. It's a joke. Like, HLA is just, it's ridiculous. Okay. Good to see the names in the chat. Honestly, Bryce, wait, I used it for Chasing Glory this week, and what I really noticed was green reads and also speed. I'm trying some new things with green reading. Stay tuned, members, because this is actually this is pretty exciting. I went down a rabbit hole, and do you know what's funny is Harris. Harris has been going down a rabbit hole with Old Man Golf 2. You guys will know him. He sent me an email the other day. He's been going down an absolute rabbit hole, just like me. We've been on the same journey. I started my journey, I'm going to say it was about a year ago. It was before I did the Joe Lagowski golf training facility. So that's how long I've been on the rabbit hole for. I've been tunneling down. Harris has just gone. He's gone. Just wait for the member video. I'll probably film it this week. It might release late next week. Work is insane, but the rabbit hole is with putting. Just stay tuned. It's actually quite exciting. Okay. Let's get into some of these topics then. Let's talk SkyTrack. So while I was away, SkyTrack had an announcement where they basically said, well, they've announced that they're using Foresight and TrackMan courses. So Foresight and TrackMan, they're using their names and they're using their courses in the SkyTrack software. So this is pretty big for the sim world, because what's interesting about this is you've essentially got competitors in, TrackMan, Foresight, teaming up or partnering or licensing. I guess licensing is the better word, licensing their courses to SkyTrack. I have gone over this, and I know Jez has gone over this, and it's very hard to wrap your head around this, and it's just odd. It is an odd thing that's come out. You've got competitors essentially supplying their courses to another competitor. What I will say is all of the physics, all of the skinning, the skin of the actual software is SkyTrack. So all the ball physics, all of that is SkyTrack. What have they got from Foresight and TrackMan? It looks like, and I'm just watching videos on this and seeing pictures, it looks like they've got the map, the models, so potentially LiDAR data and all that, but then it also kind of looks like they're using the textures as well from these, Foresight and TrackMan. What is even more weird is that they've started using their brand name on everything. So they've completely plastered TrackMan's name and Foresight, and I mean, fair play to them, because you would, right? You would use their names because you're associating your hardware. I've got to be careful what I say here, because you're associating their hardware with, TrackMan, who's a major player in the sim world, who's a very closed. I always said TrackMan is like the Apple of the sim golf world. They've got their ecosystem. It works very well, really good software. And now they're licensing courses to SkyTrack. So it's very odd. And then Foresight. So what I will say is, I think the SkyTrack courses that initially got released for their software, the TrackMan courses that got released initially with the SkyTrack software, I think they were actually TrackMan courses, but they weren't branded TrackMan courses. So I don't think it's VG3. I really don't think it's VG3, Jez, just from what I've seen, but I've only seen iPad Play. So yeah, so I think recently something changed and they were able to advertise that they were TrackMan courses, and then also Foresight's jumped on board, and they're selling their software or licensing their software to SkyTrack as well. Really, really interesting. It is, yeah, I didn't think that would ever happen, but here we are. And what I guess this does show is that TrackMan and Foresight, they must be getting a lot of money for licensing these courses to SkyTrack. I'd hazard a guess to say, you know, that it costs $220, by the way, $220 for a license, and that's not all inclusive. So you're only getting 30 courses for $220 a year. That's a lot of money. And that's if you want to go Foresight. If you want to get the TrackMan courses, that's another additional $220. So $440 for what, 60 courses, I believe. I mean, it's not a lot, is it? It's not a lot of courses for the money that you pay. Very, very interesting. What does this mean for the future? Are they going to, you know, potentially license Foresight and TrackMan courses to other, you know, brands? I don't know. Probably, maybe Rapsodo might jump on board. I mean, you never know. But it's very, very interesting, and it's something that I guess I'll be following very closely. In saying that, $440 for 60 courses, when, I mean, you look over my shoulder, this software, that's the biggest, like, you know, question mark is you can get this software for half the price, and you're getting, I've got over 2,000 courses now on GS Pro. But in saying that, I think GS Pro needs to think about getting some iPad applications going, or an iPad application, so they can run their software on the iPad. That's probably why SkyTrack has gone this route, is this stuff works on an iPad. It's got to be an M1 chip. It's got to be a good iPad, but these courses work on an iPad. So that's probably why SkyTrack's gone down this route as opposed to partnering with GS Pro. That's only my guess, but I don't know. I don't think anyone knows, to be honest. Yeah, they are. Spike, I agree. I think they're getting nervous of the competition, and they're going, okay, we've got to, you know, we've got to do something. So yeah, potentially that's it. You can't really find a lot of answers either. I don't think anybody knows, apart from a few key people in key positions within the company. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. Yeah, time will tell. Well, that's it. Yeah, if you look at the money, Top Gun, you just go, it's odd. But then, in saying that, SkyTrack is, you know, I guess they want their system to work with iPads. They want it to work with Mac and etc. So yeah, you've got a trade-off there. It's what it does is it opens up that device to a bigger range of people. People who go, I don't have, you know, $2,000 to spend on a PC that can run GS Pro. I'll just get a SkyTrack and run Foresight or TrackMan courses on an iPad. Or I have, you know, a Mac, and so therefore I'll just get a SkyTrack. So I think they've potentially partnered or licensed with TrackMan and Foresight. I'd hazard a guess to say TrackMan and Foresight are going to get the majority of that $220. SkyTrack are going to be selling more hardware. So just on that as well, I watched a couple of videos, and they really annoyed me, because one of them was saying that SkyTrack's working on their hardware, but then talked about a firmware update. I just want to be clear here that people need to be aware of what hardware is and what software and firmware is. So hardware is the physical device. So this, let me get a launch monitor. This is hardware. When we talk about hardware, we're talking about the cameras used. We're talking about the screen used. That is hardware. If you're changing hardware, then you're going to be changing the cameras. You're going to be changing the computer inside this thing. That's hardware. Once you've got this device released to the masses, you can do firmware updates that make these cameras work differently, and you can do software updates to the application used, and that's going to affect things like, you know, carry, yardages, and etc. You can't, when you talk hardware, it's the physical device. So I've watched a video, and the guy kept saying they're working on their hardware, and then was referencing firmware updates. That is not, you're changing the way that the cameras potentially capture the device. It can change things like ball speed, etc., but you're not changing the cameras themselves. That's hardware. Firmware, you're changing things, the way these things work in the device, and then software, you're changing the application that's running it. So I just want to there's so much misinformation going around, and it really does my head in. The other one I heard with it as well was the person who did the video, and I'm not going to name names. The other person was saying that, you know, putting works better on the Foresight or TrackMan application or the TrackMan courses. The software is getting fed the data that the launch monitor provides. It's not using the physics of TrackMan. It's not using the physics of Foresight. It's using SkyTrack physics within their, you know, courses that they've licensed. So SkyTrack physics, it's getting all the data from the actual device. Putting is not going to be better in one software versus the other. It's not how it works. So yeah, two videos, two different people, but it just did my head in, and I'm going, pulling my hair out. And that brings me on to pulling my hair out about a video I watched about the IDRA2 and also the Unicore XR. But first, let me know your thoughts on SkyTrack. I know there's been comments coming in, and I've probably missed them. So, Jez, yeah, see, I haven't looked in any of the TrackMan owners groups, but yeah, potentially. I mean, look, it's VG2, which, yeah, if they start doing VG3 courses on PCs for SkyTrack, that's where TrackMan owners are going to get really annoyed. But I guess the reason you buy into TrackMan is because, one, you're a commercial facility, or two, you're extremely, extremely rich, because to get a TrackMan unit and then also pay the subscription fee each year, you have to have a fair bit of money. And so you're kind of buying exclusivity when you buy into TrackMan. It's like when you get an iPhone. You know, you're buying that exclusivity. You're buying the brand, and you're buying into that ecosystem. Now that TrackMan have started just, you know, giving the courses to let's call it Motorola, the Androids of the world, it's weird. I don't know. I can see TrackMan owners getting annoyed because they've paid for the exclusivity of this software, of this ecosystem, and now other people are getting it. So it would be annoying, but I guess at the end of the day, TrackMan needs to make money. So they're just like everyone else. And potentially this is them going, oh, we're actually losing commercial facilities now to things like Proti. We're losing commercial facilities to things like Foresight. Maybe we need to start making money in other areas. So potentially that's it. I don't know. Yeah, Spike. Yeah, I think that's like a lot of us, mate. That's like a lot of us. But yeah, it would be cool to check out the courses on SkyTrack. But to be honest, when I loaned the SkyTrack off the guy that lent it to me, I paid for the courses, and it was seriously expensive. I'm going, yeah, I can't remember how much I paid Australian. It was about $600, I think, Australian, just to play 30 courses. It's like mad. Money I will not get back. Actually, that reminds me, I need to make sure I don't have that on auto renew. I'll set a note. If I've got that on auto renew, I'll be absolutely annoyed at myself. I'm going to make a note now. Check SkyTrack auto renew. Okay. Bryce is saying, honestly, I don't see the value in buying a TrackMan compared to the launch monitors in GS Pro. Yeah. Look, TrackMan does things really well. They do things really well with software. And that's where a lot of other SIM companies or launch monitor hardware companies, they're starting to kind of catch up. Unicore, for example, they're probably the best ecosystem for the Androids. I always compare it to Apple and Android, and you look at Unicore, they've got a really good ecosystem now. Once they have Game Day ticking along, like their ecosystem is really good. The way you can export data, the way you can do all the, you know, send it to your coaches through the Power U reports. Unicore is fantastic with that. TrackMan has amazing software. the way it gives you all of your data, the way it lays it out, the way it has its optimizers, it's fantastic. It is really, really well done. Even the graphics in the courses. Yeah, so TrackMan VG3 is definitely up there, and it's amazing. You get little things like your ball will roll through the bunker and you'll see where the ball's rolled. It's incredible, incredible software. But the actual hardware, TrackMan 4, I've said it a million times, it is not good indoors, and I stand by that. And we'll talk about TrackMan 4 when we talk about the IDRA 2, because again, yeah, I'm annoyed. This is an episode where I needed to do this to give my thoughts on what's been happening in the sim world. And this is why I started this channel. A major driving factor for this channel. It doesn't make a lot of money, this channel. Trust me. The major driving factor for this channel now is, honestly, the driving factor is I watch videos from other people, and what they say, some of it is just plain flat out wrong, and some of it is very misleading. However, use my code and I'll make a kickback. And so that, it just does my head in. So so that is a major driving factor for this channel, is I want to actually get accurate, correct information out there to people so they can actually make an informed decision. And that's why I did this channel. A major driving factor for this channel, and why I continue to do it, is because it really annoys me when I see these videos of people who have these products, they push them onto people, people buy them, and then they're ultimately disappointed, or they don't know all the issues or things that go wrong with the device. So that's what is a major driving factor for this channel, and that's why I'm open and honest, and I just show people over time as well. I don't just do one video and go, that device is really good. I, over time, get to know these devices, know the ins and outs of them before I give my assessment. We've also got the official tests, so people can see the official tests, like the putting test, the chipping test. I'm going to have some more official tests coming in the future, but those official tests, I really feel like they give an accurate representation of what the launch monitor is doing, and so people can actually see for themselves, whether it's accurate, or, what misreads are happening, or what's going on with the device. All right, let's talk Unicore. I love Unicore. I love it as an ecosystem. I think it's fantastic. Let's talk Unicore XR. So my thoughts. This device came out, I saw it at the PGA show, first off. It's now been released. It sits behind, which is, it has pros. Let's be real. So the Pro T that I love, it sits in front, and you can actually, and I've seen videos of this, people sky a shot and it hits the Pro T. I've seen videos. There's been pictures where people have shown that the actual camera has been smashed by a golf ball. So there are issues with mounting a launch monitor in front of the hitting area, but there are major advantages as well. If I was to run the Pro T in a commercial facility, Jez, I would be getting, you can get protective cases, because people go to commercial facilities and let's be real, they're just going to try and hit bombs. They're just going to be silly. I'd be getting protective cases. And honestly, in this environment as well, I don't really have a lot of people come in here and hit golf balls who I don't know and I don't trust. So if I had a lot of people coming in here, if I was giving lessons, etc., I would 100% get a protective case. So there are advantages of mounting it behind, but there are also major disadvantages. And that's what I'm going to talk about with the Unicore XR now. I don't want to give too much judgment on this device as well, because I haven't used it. So I really try and reserve judgment. I like to give my assessments after I've used the device for an extended period of time. So this is just my initial thoughts. And the chances of me getting a Unicore XR are very, 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 very slim to none. Almost more to the none. And the reason for that, I'm not going to go into it right now. But the way it works in Australia, it's just, the chances of me, it's just not going to happen. Let's be real. So Unicore XR, it mounts behind, and they're giving you AI club data But also the really cool thing is they are dimple tracking on the golf ball. So that is a really big positive. Now, dimple tracking is fantastic. I've had the Pro T now for, I don't even know, a year maybe, I'm not sure. But I haven't had any issues with that unit registering a golf shot. I think the whole time I've had it, I had a misread when I was playing my Joe Lagowski Golf League. I had a flop shot that thinned. That was one misread. And then I've had another misread, I'm sure. Put it this way. In the year I've had it, I can count the misreads on one hand. And I think it was only about 2 or 3. Misreads are going to happen with every device, even a GC Quad. So dimple tracking is fantastic. Now, I do use Pix balls exclusively, but I haven't had a misread. I've had maybe a couple of misreads since owning it. So it does dimple track, which is a massive pro. Let's talk about the club data though, because this isn't getting talked about enough. If you go to the Unicore website and look at the Unicore XR, it only actually calculates or measures a few metrics. It then estimates things like face angle. Now, this is not a massive deal. And again, I'd love to test this and actually, try it out. But having it mounted behind is not optimal to actually get club data. Pro T mounts it in front, and the way they do it is by virtually putting stickers on the club. I'm not sure what Unicore's doing, but they can't accurately capture face angle because you're looking at it from behind. So you're not getting face angle actually, measured or calculated. It's estimated. So you're getting some estimated data from this thing. You're also not getting impact location. So you're missing out on a few different metrics. You're not getting dynamic line, things like that. So having it mounted behind is a really odd choice. And I think the reason they did this is because if they had that same unit and they mounted it in front, it would take away from their IXO and IXO2. So I think that's why they've mounted it behind. One of the reasons. They don't want it to be a cheaper device that essentially does the same thing as their, brand name IXO2. That's their major player. I think that's one of the reasons. I think that might be one of the main reasons, because you're not getting some data points that you would get with the IXO2. Very interesting. I'll want to know your thoughts, but you can't get impact location because if you look at even the video itself, one of the main things I love about the Pro T is the video replay. And I love watching that video replay where I hit it on the face. I think it's fantastic. When you look at the Unicore video overhead when it's sitting behind, you just don't really get that fidelity. It's just not, it's not the same. So it's an interesting device. Also, you've got subscription fees you got to think about. It's interesting. I'd love to try it, and I don't want to cast too much judgment until I try it, but it kind of doesn't have the things that I love about the Pro T, being the overhead video and then also the impact location. So interesting device. But I think, again, it's not been talked about enough that yes, it's capturing some club metrics, but it's also estimating other club metrics. So we've just got to be aware of what we're actually getting. And, some videos that you watch, they gloss over a few details. Let's just say that. Let's see. This is just me just ranting for an hour, by the way. Let's see, we got Bryce. Will it affect the shot shape on GS Pro if it is wrong, or is spin axis and HLA? Are you talking about the club metrics, Bryce? If you're talking about the XR with club metrics, no. So GS Pro is going to only use ball data. So all simulator softwares, whether it be GS Pro, E6, any sim software, any simulator software uses ball metrics to actually calculate the shot shape and everything. The club data is just fed into GS Pro and shown to you just, to be nice. You actually don't need club data at all. That's why the GC2 was ball data only. and you could play GS Pro. Club data is just a nicety in GS Pro. So no, no, it's only ball data for any simulator software. Yeah, nice. And so, yeah, when you talk about launch monitors like Pro T, they're independently doing the ball data and then independently doing club data. The Unicore is independently doing ball data, but then I believe they're using some of the ball data to then estimate club angle, because they'd have to be looking at HLA to then make some sort of assessment on face angle. They'd have to bring it into the calculation. So it's a different way of doing it, and I'd love to test it out. J. Thomas III is in the house. Now, I was actually high school. We've been friends I grew up in Texas. I lived in Texas. I went to middle school and high school there, and I used to play golf with Jay a lot. It's good to see you, mate. It's good to see you. He is now, where are you working, Jay? Is it, where did they just play the Texas event? The Memorial, is it? Memorial Park? If you live in Texas and you want to go get a lesson, definitely go hit up Jay. He's a good guy. All right, let's talk the IDRA2. So this is going to be another rant, so strap in. IDRA2. Let's talk about that, because again, I watched a video and I just got wound up. I had to stop the video because I was just so annoyed. Now, this device, shown off at the PGA show, it's now been released. Okay, here we go. Let me just, Joe's the reason I'm a PGA professional. Memorial Park Golf Course. Yeah. That's really cool. So yeah, hopefully this video gets out. I might mention that in a few more videos, Jay. We'll see if we can get some lessons. If you're in Texas, you want to go get a lesson, go see Jay. Memorial Park Golf Course. Right, IDRA2. Let's talk about this. So this device, let's talk about some positives. The really cool thing about the IDRA2 is the way it integrates with GS Pro. I really love the way it integrates with GS Pro. You get things like auto offset. So you get things like auto offset where when you put your ball on the ground, the GS Pro screen will actually match up to where your ball is. So you're basically going to hit straight on every shot. It's really cool. I do love that. They've also integrated their, it's almost like an overlay of their software within GS Pro. So I think that is really cool. And I think a lot of other launch monitors could take a leaf out of their book, because that would be fantastic. Let's talk about the actual way this device works, though, because unlike let's just say the Pro T for an example, unlike the Pro T, unlike the Unicore IXR, unlike the XO, unlike any other overhead that I've talked about on the channel, the IDRA2 is actually taking a few key metrics and key club metrics as well, and it's going to estimate spin axis. So this is the thing that was kind of glossed over in the video that I watched. This is an overhead unit, and the person doing the video kept banging on saying, you don't need marked clubs, it's going to give you club data, you don't need marked balls, you can use any golf ball you want. Of course you can use any golf ball you want. It's estimating the spin and spin axis. So of course you don't have to have a marked ball. It's estimating the data. And it kept banging on about it. Then went on to say, one of the top launch monitors in the world estimates spin axis indoors. And you're talking about TrackMan 4, which is a radar-based unit. This is meant to be an overhead photometric-based system. It's completely different technology. The reason the radar-based unit estimates spin and spin axis is because it doesn't have the ball flight to actually show you which way the ball's curving. TrackMan 4 indoors estimates spin axis. this IDRA2, which is an overhead photometric-based system, estimates spin axis. To me, that is very, very strange. And look, again, I don't want to throw too many stones because I would love to test this. I'd love to put it through the Joe Lagowski golf tests and actually show the world, hey, is this accurate or is it not accurate? Because spin axis is something that is very, very important when you're playing sim golf indoors. Because if the spin axis is incorrect, then ultimately you're not going to learn. You're not going to get better because you're going to be practicing things that don't even make sense, that don't correlate. So very, very strange. I mean, yeah, you may as well have the R10, to be honest. If you're going to get that, the R10 does the same thing. And the R10 is absolutely amazing at all the other data it puts out. So the R10 gives really accurate ball data in terms of ball speed, VLA, HLA, really accurate backspin when you use an RCT golf ball. It gives accurate club data. It does miss club data sometimes. It gives accurate club data. And then the R10 is doing the exact same thing. It's estimating spin axis using all those other metrics. So yeah, spin axis indoors is huge. It's just, it cannot be understated. And I don't know, it just baffles me that this unit is estimating spin axis. It does. It really baffles me. And then to watch the video where the presenter was saying, just kept banging on, it doesn't need marked balls. This unit doesn't need marked balls. Of course it doesn't, mate. It's estimating spin axis. You could use a rock. Like, it's just... Anyway, let me calm down. I forget this is a live. I can't just, edit these out. Usually if I do a video and I go on a little rant, when I edit it, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't. That wasn't really, professional. Maybe I'll take that out. But this is live, so we're just doing it. There you go. Yeah, see, the creator they chose is all affiliate sales based. You get a good point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, preach it, Spike. Preach it. So yeah, very interesting. And this brings me to another point. Proti does not do any affiliate links. They don't do affiliate links. So have a look at those presenters. Have they ever done a Proti video on their channel? They're not going to get affiliate kickbacks if they sell a Proti. Just saying. All right. I'm going to get in trouble with this video. Whatever. We're going for it. We're honest. I'm being honest. So yeah, IDRA2 positives. I really love the way they've integrated with GS Pro, and I'd love to see other companies integrate that much. However, there are major, major, major cons. Yeah, that absolutely. Bryce, that is a good point. I do love the fact that it has a little light, but what happens when that LED, I mean, how long does an LED last? It lasts a long time, right? But yeah, it does have a little light that shines. That is actually pretty cool. I do like that. It is good. All right, so that's my thoughts on the IDRA2 estimated spin and spin axis. Very strange for an overhead photometric based launch monitor. So yeah, would I purchase it with my own money? No. Would I love to test it and just prove myself wrong? And if they sent me one and I tested it on the channel and I thought it was accurate, I'd be upfront and honest. I'd be humble and I'd say, look, I was wrong. It is actually really accurate. So if anyone from IDRA2 is watching this and you would like to send me a unit test on the channel, I would love to test it. And I will approach it with an open and honest, no preconceived biases. I will approach it like I do with any launch monitor. I'll put it through all the tests and I won't have any biases. But the flip side of that is I'm going to be honest in my review. I will be honest in my review. So it kind of reminds me. So that unit is from Canada, I believe. And we also had another unit from Canada. What was it called? Whiz Eye or something? Whiz Eye? That thing was pretty much the exact same. That thing estimated spin and spin axis as well. What is it with Canadians and estimating the spin axis? You've got to get Brett. He doesn't estimate. He calculates with this thing. If you want a Canadian launch monitor, this one will be the one to get. Okay. Let's look at the comments coming in. So Epic, it is expensive. So I haven't talked about the price of the IDRA2. I think it's about $6,000. Let me check. I think it's around $6,000 Canadian. I could be wrong though. It's expensive, like it is. Okay, so US dollars. Get this. Jeez. Okay. IDRA2, $6,495 US dollars. That is mad. What does the Pro T cost US dollars? Because here in Australia, I know the price. The Pro T, 6,500. I mean, it blows my mind. Why would anyone buy the IDRA2? That is just mind-blowing. I guess as well, look, again, I don't want to be too negative on this device because I haven't tested it. It might be really accurate. But the video, no. I'd love to test it. They are selling this thing. It's very much linked in with packages. I've noticed they're trying to link it in with packages so you actually buy the whole package with the launch monitor included. It's an interesting way, but yeah, it's a product. It's out there. I'm sure people will buy it. And look, I don't want to have any preconceived conditions. If they did send me a unit, I would test it completely unbiased. Let me just check. How much does the XR cost? So the XR costs $7,000 and you're going to have to pay subscription fees. So, I mean, to me, that is mad. Again, Pro T kicking goals, absolutely kicking goals. Yeah, that is just, I think to me, the Pro T compares more to the IXO2 in my opinion, because you're getting all the data points that the IXO2 gives you. The XR it's a different beast, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes in the community. The one thing is, I'll say, Unicore has an amazing ecosystem. So you're buying into that Unicore ecosystem, it's amazing. I think Pro T is very much in its real early phase of their ecosystem. I think Unicore is way more along the line in terms of, they've got the integrated swing cameras, you can get coaching AI, you can get the balance optics, you can do things like export all of your data using the Power U reports, and then that gives you essentially a web link that you can send to your coach. So say if I wanted to get lessons off Jay, who's at Memorial Park, my mate, I could use my Unicore, export that into a file for him. I could send him those videos and then he could look at the videos, and while the video was playing, he would get all of my data along the bottom. So Unicore does things extremely well. They've got an extremely good ecosystem. And also the View software is fantastic as well. For data analysis, the View software is insanely good. They're getting Game Day as well, which is an amazing, simulation software as well. So the Unicore has a really good ecosystem. So that's, I guess, if you're going to get the XR, you're buying into their ecosystem as well as having that device. Whereas Pro T, their ecosystem is in the beginning. They definitely need, and that's why this year Pro T is focusing just on software. They're not thinking about hardware. Jez is saying, going to see what 7 Pro Ts look like set up soon. That's exciting, and I hope I get to come check it out and also do a video there. That'd be cool. Bryce is saying, I have legit no. So she's on. Yeah. What? No, Bryce, honestly, Unicore's fantastic. Unicore's fantastic. Pro-T's insanely good, but Unicore, like I just explained, has that ecosystem that Pro-T still doesn't have. I'm sure Pro-T will get there. But the Pro-T software labs is seriously good. Top Gun saying we need more competition to equalize what metrics are measured. Yeah, that's it. And the thing is with club data, there's no standardization. It's all where and when the unit captures the data is up to the company. So you can have metrics that are far different. You look at TrackMan versus Foresight for club data, wildly different, wildly different. But yeah, that is pretty much all I wanted to cover in this live. So get those questions coming in. Was good to see Rory win the Masters. I was on holiday, but I woke up at about 3:54 in the morning to tune in for the back nine, and what an emotional roller coaster that was. I mean, that was crazy, absolutely crazy. I don't know. Well, I do know how he missed the green on the 13th with that 87-yard shot. It was just, that's golf, isn't it? And that's when I get mad at missing a green from 87 yards. I've just got to remind myself that arguably the best player of our generation missed the green from 87 yards. Now, granted, it was in the Masters. He had all that pressure. But I'm going, just aim anywhere left on that green. Anywhere left. Ah. Please try recreate that shot on 15. I should do that, actually. That's a good idea. That's a good idea for a short. I might have to do a few of his shots. Do you know what I could recreate is his shot where he missed it on 13. I'd be good at that. I'd probably get that in one take. Rose was absolute class. Absolute class. Yeah, I have Epic. After this, I'm going to go watch the highlights of Live, because I think it just, as I was waking up making pancakes for the kids this morning, Live was just finishing. So I'll wait for the highlights. I'll watch it. I love John Rahm. I love Bryson, as you can tell. Jumbo Max, I've now got the arm lock. I'm a big Bryson fan. And I think a lot of people talk. So this is the thing. Amateur golfers, let's be real, we're not that good. We get a short putter, we're going to be nowhere near as good as the top players in the world. They are elite. They are, just insanely good. What Bryson does is, I think he does a lot of things that makes golf a lot easier for the average person. So things like arm lock putters, I'm sold. If, when I need to get this thing cut down, but if I was going to teach someone to play golf now that hadn't played golf before, I'd just put them in an arm lock straight up. I'd be like, there's no such thing as a short putter. That arm lock, learn on that straight up. They are going to be so much better with face control. I guarantee it. The window that gives you with face, it's so much bigger, the margin of error. And people say, oh, why haven't all the top end pros gone to that then? Well, there are some cons, and you've got to remember these guys are the elite of the elite athletes. Their touch is something that's so good. So that's why they haven't gone to it. They don't need to. They've got that touch. They can start their ball HLA, every time. Whereas you look at amateurs, you can't, mate. You can't. You can't start it perfectly every time. Get something that's going to help you. A lab, mate. Jay, have you seen my lab videos, Jay? I'm sold on lab. I have been for years. Check out that bad boy. Love it. That's the short version. Absolutely love. I started off with the Mez Max. I still use all these as well. I'm thinking of using the Mez Max when I send the arm lock back to get redone. Love my Mez Max. It's ugly. It's ugly. Top Gun, but it works. But yeah, this thing is good. This big beast. I got the lines there, the arm lock, absolutely sold. Yeah, arm lock's the way to go. For those, so Jez is saying, for those that cannot play JLG, can you do a king of the NTP comp, set us a score to beat on a par 3 course. That's actually not a bad idea. I do need to get back into playing the, I used to at night, and I should probably start doing it because I got some outdoor golf coming up soon. I used to do, what's that course called? Let me check. I used to play Flushing Meadows. I used to play this so much. Let's just head out to Flushing Meadows. I used to play Flushing Meadows at night because I couldn't practice because it'd make too much noise if I hit shots. So I might do a set a score on Flushing Meadows. Stay tuned for the Facebook post. I'll put it in the Discord as well. Jay saying I have a DF3, yeah. Yeah, the DF3. That one thing that I was almost going to get the DF2 for my arm lock, and I was sold, and I was like, I'm going to get the DF2, and I'm thinking about getting a broomstick as well, just to try it. I love just trying all these new wild, different things. The DF2, I think, would be amazing in an arm lock, arguably better. However, this. I just love the Gimme Getter. I love the Gimme Getter. I got so used to it. I honestly think the Mes Max, I probably roll it better with the Mes Max. If I was to go on a Quintic system, I think I would roll it better with the Mes Max. But I just love the Gimme Getter. I had to get a DF3 for the Gimme Getter. I just had to. I just use it too much. I just love it. In my room, I always I'll do a putt, and then I'll just get the ball just with the Gimme Getter. It's just too good. It's just too good. Completely sold on the Gimme Getter. Also, it's an amazing putter. Harris is in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you, mate. I did put this in the Discord, Harris. It was a little bit late. I've got to get better at putting these, giving people a bit more time. What I will say, though, is if you're on Facebook and you see one of these on Facebook and you want to know your local time, if you click on that link, it will actually give you your local time there of when this is going to go live. Yeah, Bryce, for the sim, which is where I play golf, let's be honest, the Gimme Getter is it's amazing. Yeah, Top Gun, I know, but then you got this massive, look, lack of a better term, you got this massive knob on the top of your grip that I just hate. I just can't do it. I cannot do it. So yeah, this is Flushing Meadows. Let me change over, and I'll get rid of the. I'll get rid of this, and I'll put the chat in. Okay, this is Flushing Meadows, and I'll probably do I might even do a video potentially. I love Flushing Meadows. Such a good course just to practice your wedges on. Yeah, I know. Bryce, you get it. You get it, right? I just can't do it. I cannot do it. Yeah, nothing like Green Meadows. Oh man. We should try and get that course built on GS Pro. Yeah, Flushing Meadows is in New York. So this is in New York. But yeah, I'll probably do a video on this course then, or at least set a challenge. I might just take a picture of the scorecard at the end and set a challenge. Fun course, really fun course. Did you see the message on Discord about Square? I haven't, Harris. I did see your message. I didn't read it though. I've got to go back and read it and get a bit more into the Discord. The Discord for me, I need to get more active on the Discord. I use the Facebook group a lot. I need to get more active on the Discord. Recommendations for fun stuff when my golf sim is done and we invite all our golf friends round. Ian, go and play, this will destroy everybody. Go and play Georgia Golf Club off the tips with, 13 stimp and hard greens. No one will want to come back. Sorry, Top Gun, I did see your message. But in being all things serious, Ian, you can do so much on GS Pro. You can set, skills challenges. You can do nearest the pins, things like that. There's so much stuff you can do on GS Pro. Update on the G&G monitor. Yes. So Top Gun, I'll answer this now. So G&G, they've actually updated the hardware. And my rant earlier, when I say they've updated the hardware, they have actually updated the physical device. So this thing, like I said from the start, I love this logo on top. This unit was sent to me by the guys. They have updated this physical hardware. So the physical hardware is different. They're going to send me a new unit. This was a alpha build. This was basically a test that went really, really well. They were, scared to ship this thing from Canada to Australia. Massive transit. It's going to get banged around. So think of this like a test that was very successful. They've now updated some of the hardware to make it better to work in different, conditions. What they found was, and this is like all launch monitors, you can make something that works in your environment really well. What's hard is making it work in everybody's environment well. There's going to be different issues that pop up when I use this unit in my environment compared to the guys in Canada using it in their environment. And that's going to be like the same when they send this thing to other places as well. It's going to be different. They're going to find new issues based on, how people have their sim set up. One of the issues they found with me that the guys didn't have in their environment is where my hitting strip finishes just here, there is a very, very slight drop off. If this thing isn't pushed down perfectly, there is a slight drop off of, call it 2 to 3 mils. And that drop off caused the device to read things differently. So there's going to be all these little issues that people don't really think about that pop up when you start using devices in different environments. Lighting is a huge thing, Spike. So that's, I guess, what, the guys, that's why they wanted to send one to me as well, just to test in my environment and also just to get some data comparing it to other devices. So stay tuned. I will be doing another video with the guys, hopefully playing some golf. So we'll play some golf, and that'll be pretty epic moment from the first video I did where I was using I think it was the Unicore I was using. I can't remember, but I played golf with the guys. Now, using their device halfway across the world, both using their devices, playing GS Pro, it's going to be pretty cool. So that's hopefully going to be coming in the future. Issue with Square. What's going on there? Oh, is that from Harris? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I'll have to read that, Harris. I'll get onto it. And I've got to get my Square out again because there's been an update and I haven't even seen it. So I'll definitely get into that. It's hard. Like what I'm finding hard now with the limited time that I have with my work is taking up a lot of time. Trying to stay on top of all these launch monitors is quite hard. And this is the thing. People who have Squares and use them, day in, day out, they're going to see a lot of things. They're going to notice issues before I do, just because I'm not using it every day. That's when I had the Garmin R10, when I first started this channel, I'd use it every single day. So I would notice if there was something wrong straight away. Same with the Unicore. When I was using the iMini as my main device, I noticed things straight away. I picked up on spin axis issues, all these things because I'm using it day in, day out. 14 under in the league this week already. Man, the league has gone to another level, hasn't it, Bryce? It's just nuts. The people are playing so good now. It's good to see. I've got to get into the league games again, just due to time. I just haven't been able to do it. Yeah. Yeah, Spike's in a bit of hurt. He's had a few injuries. Hopefully he'll be back in health soon. But yeah, that is pretty much the live. If anyone's got any questions, I've got to read what Harris has said in the Discord. I'll get onto that. What I've noticed is I don't actually have Discord on my iPad, which is strange. I've got it on my phone. And yes, I do. I got it on my iPad. So Harris has said, since the latest Square firmware and software update, I have some issues with acquiring the ball when it's in position and some no reads, but only in GS Pro. That's strange. My guess is the light goes green and back to blue and no shot has passed through. Okay. That's interesting. Only in GS Pro as well. That's even more interesting. Because software shouldn't be... Yeah, that's weird. I'll have to do the update and have a look. All right, guys, that is going to be it for the live, unless anyone else has some pressing questions. I found certain courses error. Yeah, so I guess the only real thing that I had issues with this Square when the last time I tested it was I was still getting big. Do you remember when I played Pebble Beach? I had that one drive that spun at like, what was it? 3,300, I think. That was a misread. And then I also had the 6 iron that I hit on 17 that went nowhere, and there was a ball speed error. So I'd have random ball speed and then random spin errors, but they were only happening once or twice around. So that's the only issues I have seen with Square, but I need to do this latest update and just see if I'm in the same boat. Spike saying, Harris, did you update the connector to... This is the thing with Square. The updates you've got to do are strange. Like it's not streamlined. I remember when I updated the firmware and things last time, it was a bit, it wasn't the most streamlined, was it? And that's, no, ball lock wouldn't be the no reads might be due to your mat moving slightly, but yeah, there's so many updates that come in it. And you've got to update them in different ways. Like I had to update mine on my PC for one, and it was really odd. Okay, I'll have to check it out. All right, guys, that's it for this video. It looks like I'll have to do an update video on the Square. This is the thing, I've got to use it for a little bit of time before I, make my opinion of it, because like I said, I like to actually get a feel for these devices. So I might have to get it out and use it for a little bit. Yeah, okay, they've done the alignment stick on the connector. That's fantastic if they have. That would be amazing, because I used to hate having to connect it to my iPad, do the alignment, then go into the thing. Okay, nice. That is cool. That is actually really cool. All right, guys, that is going to be it for today's episode. Thank you for tuning in if you did. Next week, we should be doing a live, no problem. I'll try and get it out there so people can have a bit more time to actually, set the alert. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Jay, amazing to see you in the chat as well. It's been too long. Like, we need to catch up. All right, guys. Hope to see you next week. It should be the same time next week. Fingers crossed. But if I don't, I'll hopefully have a few videos coming out this week. And I'll try and get that Flushing Meadows video out as well, the competition. All right, guys, that's it for this one. I'll catch you next week. Cheers.